When you look carefully, closely at your experience in this very moment, it's always this very moment, you will find an intimacy. You will find that everything that you experience is so close to yourself that it's not apart from yourself. It's intimately yourself. That you are experiencing yourself as a thought, as an image, as a perception, as a sensation, but it's always intimately yourself. You are never apart from yourself. You never experience something outside of yourself. No matter what shape or form, no matter what impression appears to you, it appears in and as your complete intimacy. Your wholeness, your totality, your globality, taken on the form of this perception, taken on the form of a sensation. Never divided, never fragmented. Even the thought that there is fragmentation, even that thought appears to you in its totality, non-fragmented. Everything that appears to you refers to your totality, refers to your wholeness, refers to your completeness. But your wholeness, your totality, does not appear as anything. Yet it's there. When you turn your attention to it, it's right there. It notices itself. Whatever appears to you is defined by you, the perceiver, you, the fact of being. Whatever appears to you is defined by you, does not define you. What you are is not something that appears. And therefore, what you are is not something that can be defined, described. Yet, undeniably, you are. Undeniably, I am. The I that is not a thought. It's not a bundle of images or memories. It's not a mother, a father, a daughter, a son. is not something that is becoming, that is coming and going. The I is the reality that hears these words. That is the I that knows I knows I am, I is I, knows I am, is I am, is beingness, is awareness, knows. I am aware, I awareness, am aware. But it's not an object, not a concept. Before the form arises, there has to be awareness, like an image on the screen requires the screen. Like letters, words scribbled on a piece of paper require the blank sheet of paper. Everything that appears in that aware space that we refer to as I. Borderless, edgeless presence. That is self-knowing. Whenever you know yourself as Joe, John, or Mary, or Betty, for that moment you are leaving your true knowingness and taking on the belief and feeling of being a form, immortal aspect, with all its troubles, like the seed needs sunshine, needs water, needs good earth. You become this shadow identity with all your needs and desires and concerns. And the natural order is impacted by your identification. In the sense of lack, in the sense of isolation and separation, the hopes for a better future. The worries about your goods, about your future. Protecting your goods. And all the negative emotions. Jealousy, greed, and anger, fear, loneliness. All of these belong to that identity, that identification that you have embodied somehow. Decided that that's what I am. I am something that appears. I am this body-mind realm, feeling, sensing realm. I am somebody in the dream, and it's so real. I have to work so hard and protect myself and build myself a good shelter, a good home, a good family, a good future, good relationship. Over and over, lifetime after lifetime of struggle and concern and angst and new strategy, a better strategy, a newer system. Maybe a higher consciousness this time. Maybe my consciousness will elevate itself. The age of super consciousness is coming. Maybe this will be my salvation. I feel it, I can sense it. I read it in my almanac. I've heard about it. Look around you. You see all these people, they're all being spiritual now. It is happening today. It is happening. So it's going to happen. I can feel it, I can sense it. I'm going for it. Yes, I am. I am a member. I'm yes, I'm yay. I'm the green party, the red party, the blue party, the purple party. That will work for me. For who? Dream conversations in an imagined dream world for an imagined dream character with bundles of dream characters, the whole tribe of ghosts. That's the game, you see. It's a game. It's something may help me. Something out there, something in here, something somewhere. It's going to be my salvation. It's going to be good for me. That's a game. Just postponing, looking directly, inquiring directly. What am I? What is the reality of my experience right now? It's so clear, so obvious. The aware presence that has no name and no form, no age, no shape, no color, no gender. Yes, I like that, but I like to be somebody nice, you see. I like to be somebody good. You're good today, awful tomorrow. That's how it goes. The good and the bad, they go hand in hand. Success and failure, up and down. So what do we do? Can we let go of this begging bowl? Recognize all what is available right here, right now. And in fact, there is nothing we need. Or what is needed. To whom? is right here, right now. For whom? For me? And for how long? In fact, there is nothing needed. All is well. Simply do not add on. Notice the add-on. The add-on is the past. Anything, any minuscule, any minute past is an add-on. 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, an hour ago, yesterday, last year, 20 years ago. All these are add-on. What are you without any add-on? No add-on. Zero add-on. Maybe we like our add-ons. We like our stories, you see. We like, oh yeah, the good things. The good things, yeah. Good things. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, how beautiful. Oh yeah. Lovely, lovely memories. Oh boy, I can rub them and flip them and bathe in them. Ah, yes. Oh, more and more. Oh. They don't reveal nothing. Nothing is revealed in your memories and your images and your feelings. Nothing. But we keep going back to them over and over. Oh yeah, that's how I feel. And here are the reasons why I feel the way I feel. Because he did this and she did that. And if she hadn't, if he hadn't, I wouldn't be feeling this way, you see. I wouldn't be feeling this way. Now I'm feeling this way because of that and that and that and that. And then we flip it and flip it and flip it and flip it. More and more of the same. What for? Just fill the space. Keep filling the space. I don't want to look. I don't want to know what I am. I just want my stories, your stories, his stories. Yes, tell me some more. And that's at the surface. And just below that surface is great misery, unhappiness, a sense of unfulfillment, a sense of lack. Just, can we be quiet and still? This space of listening that has no listener in it, no personal listener. The listening, aware space of presence that is not building a future or trying to fix the past. That is free from the impression of somebody in the future, somebody in the past. How can you be in the past or in the future? Have you asked yourself this question? How? What is tomorrow? What is tomorrow? What is tomorrow? Is there such a thing? Right now is yesterday is tomorrow. What does that mean? Just story. Just thoughts, mental masturbation. What for? This concern about me, Nobody's going to fix your me. And if you are going to fix your me yourself, good luck. You'll be here for another 40,000 years. I think it's getting better. You need to realize that this me is just some story, a mental appearance that appears to you, that you believe you are. What is it that believes in me? What is it? There has to be something that is not the me that believes I am me. What is it that's believing that? What is it that precedes the me, precedes the identification? Can you live with these questions? Can you make the heart of these questions, whichever way they appear to you, make them alive in your life? So that this limited impression of being, this impression of being a limited mortal self, ceases to haunt you once and for all. This is something you can comprehend and you can take it on, live it. Because you hear it and you understand it. So it's yours. What is it that is hearing these words right now? What is it? What is it? The breath. Impressions of tingling within the body. Inner sounds. What perceives that right now? Isn't it an open space? Open, borderless space that's appearing as that. With no walls, no edges, no borders. Your breath extending in the entire universe. Inhaling the universe, exhaling the universe. The entire world, your body. Any questions?
So it's interesting to see that the resistance that shows up is neither mind nor body. Somehow trying to characterize it in some way as if to deconstruct it or gain some sort of mind understanding. It makes no particular sense at all. It's just there to observe it. The resistance is its own kind of phenomenon. It's just happening in time and in consciousness, not to be controlled or uncontrolled, but just be seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we perceive the resistance, and it's there yet to be seen. Perceive it as usually it's some bodily.
It's just this kind of prescription of the mind. I can see it, I can understand it, I can deconstruct it. And this is what comes after that. That's just a perpetuation of that conflict.
Yes, when you want to deconstruct or fix what you are perceiving, whatever it is that you're perceiving, then it's a good question. What is it that has an issue with something that is appearing? Because whatever appears is just like the weather. It's an internal weather, external weather. We want to fix it, or we have an issue with it. What is it that is having an issue with it? So it's a habitual tendency that things should be this way, that way. I should feel this way. My family, my daughter, my son, my mother needs to act this way or react that way. And whenever the world happens, 99% of the time or whatever percentage of the time, it happens according to its own realm, not according to your wishes. Then there is an opposition within you. There is a contraction within you that it should not be this way. Say. And then we want to fix that. Actually, we want to fix the feeling we have within us, because in the end, we don't give a hoot about what's happening out there. If we're happy, there is nothing we care to fix. If it's a volcanic eruption and we're okay here, what do we need to fix? So we're really not trying to fix my mother, my father, my nephew, my cousin, my wife, my husband. We're trying to fix the feeling here within us. We want to be happy, you see. We want to feel the peace and the happiness. So we say, okay, well, this volcanic eruption should stop. You know, it's got to stop. My mother needs to become like my neighbor's mother, who is much better mother than my mother, and then everything will be okay, you see. Good luck. Good luck with that, because you cannot change the weather, you cannot change anything, nothing you can change, because it is how it is. But you don't need to change anything. Say, what do you mean? This person, my neighbor, is a pest. I've got to. There's nothing you need to change. If you want to try to change your neighbor who is a pest, good luck. You may succeed after 5 or 6 years of litigation and headaches and so on. And then you will have a problem with the other neighbor's dog. Then you spend another 6, 7, 8 years dealing with that issue and so on. Then you will have an issue with your son's girlfriend's father, who... That's how it is, you see. We all know that, right? So to remain still, to notice that it's all internal weather. It's all the weather. And the magic comes from that. It does not come from getting the correct social system, the correct political system, the correct religious order, the correct tribe. No. It does not come from the mind. So in resting as you are, it chooses aware presence that has no issue with anything. Awareness has no issue. It's not going anywhere. It is not attempting to fix its dream. Because this is its dream. It's not concerned about tsunamis, whatever they do to the villages and the cities. It's not concerned about gravity or about the sun now burning the earth or burning the planetary system to ashes. It's not concerned with that. But you believe that it does because you mistake yourself to be this worm on this earth. And you say, oh, I've got to, you know, my worm tribes have to be safeguarded because we are the higher order, you see. That's what you feel because of your identification. And as a result, you suffer. You're suffering anxiety. Oh my God, what's going to happen tomorrow? You see. How can I fix myself? How can I fix my feelings? How can I fix my neighbor? How can I fix my mother? How can I fix my job, my life, my this, my that, my time, my body? And so we are in the fixing business, yeah.
The underlying, in a way, it presents a sort of fallacy of the mind. I mean, maybe discovery is like I said, living with, well, it's not really mind, it's not really body. You can't isolate one or the other, and therefore you get the answer. It's just that there's all of this, you know, kind of behavior built into these notions that these are the pathways that you take to make things happen, like trying to solve a math problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it comes with a built-in forecast, which is really what holds the whole thing up. I mean, nothing happens except, then I'll just get the forecast, then I'll get to this. And in fact, I don't know what I'll get to. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just like absolutely being where I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know where this goes.
Yes.
Right. And just sitting quietly and being there with that and not distracting yourself even from that.
Yes.
Is kind of the task at hand. And it's like yesterday, I was just kind of sitting and just getting into I don't have to do anything. And I'm sort of like compelled to get up and clip a dead leaf on a plant or something like that. So just do anything.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter.
It's so ridiculous.
Then we can clip the leaf, that's not a problem. Or we cannot clip it, doesn't matter. You see, in terms of there are different pathways for different purposes.
Yes, right.
So there's this pathway for that, this pathway for that, this pathway for that, and it's okay. Right. Sometimes this pathway, sometimes that way, this pathway, sometimes it's that pathway. But what we are is pathway free. So yeah, we can play with all pathways we want or we care for or we feel inclined to, but do not mistake yourself to be any specific, defined, particular doer.
Yeah, that's the thing in my particular case, that I have this, that if I'm not doing this, then everything falls apart, which is not true. Just to see that I'm just going to sit here and just do nothing.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I obviously don't believe that.
And in any ways, whatever is going to fall apart is a dream.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Yeah.
We are holding on to
sure.
pegs and pieces of what we feel and imagine to be so real and so important, but they're not.
Absolutely.
They're not.
That's very cool. Yeah.
But it's the holding the holding that is right here at home. Please give me a break. I'm
Right,
okay.
right. So when I
I'm
say-
okay
when I
with
say
just.
It's not mind or body, so I see the body's like, oh,
Yeah.
and so the mind's going with this. Maybe we straighten that out. But it's clearly not one or the other.
Yeah.
And what's happening in consciousness.
And when that thing that's happening within the body, you say, when you go to it, it's like this. It's a joke. But when you don't go to it, you have an image of it. You say, I don't want it. It's not good. I don't want it. You see, when I don't want it, then it builds. As soon as it hears you, or it even imagines you're going to say, I don't want it, it's building build the foundations deeper, deeper and deeper. Let's put the pegs deeper, because I know this guy, he's going to go for, I don't want it. Yeah? Let's plant it deeper.
Perpetuation of conflict because there's some sort of fear that letting go somehow means everything's going to fall apart.
Everything that appears freely in the space is totally free. Holding on is an imaginary holding on. Letting go is an imaginary letting go.
Well, I can kind of identify with some of the things you're saying, because as my daughter pointed out the other day, she said, you're so irritable lately. And I felt that emotion, but it don't feel like it's coming from anywhere. I don't feel like I'm holding on to it any particularly, but it's just there. It's just an emotion that appears, it seems like, out of nowhere. And it's just, I don't know if it's playing with me or whatever, but there's definitely a truth to it. But I can't see that, I can identify it with something. It's just an emotion which appears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think each of us have their own repertoire of emotions and reactions, and they're sometimes they're triggered by teeny tiny things, or we don't even know what triggers them. They're sort of part of our feeling states, and we can be we can invite ourselves to just be aware of them, not in a judgmental way, not in a critical way, but just to sort of notice that there is part of this makeup. There are these aspects, these emotional aspects, these feeling states, and that none of these define me, define what I am. Because when we are identified or defined by these states, then there is a struggle that starts to occur, internal struggle with the internal weather. We want it to be different. We want to be different. We wish, because it's not different than what it is. It is what it is. And it's happening. So then the problem is my daughter or my uncle or my grandmother. Because what's happening is happening. You can't change it. It's there. And it has no name and no form, but we step out of it somehow. We imagine that we're stepping out of it, and we label it. We name it, and we judge it, and then we have an issue with it. But because it's there is nothing to do about it, because it's there. It's there. It's a fact. So we're faced with a granite wall here. There's nothing to do. So wait a minute. We turn away from it. We say, well, okay, I cannot do anything about it. So the problem maybe is the government. It's the darn weather is a problem, you see. Right? But in fact, there is no problem, and there is nothing to do about what's happening. And beyond that, there is no issue, because whatever is taking issue with whatever is happening is the past, some idea or image that you have somehow accepted as the right order, that I should be like this or like that, which is a story. It's a me story, that how I should be, or how she should be, or how the world should be, or how my life should be, or how things should be, or anything should be, is a story. And the way things are has nothing to do with your story. Nothing, 0% true. And whatever is happening is a fact, is like granite, is a fact. There's nothing to do about it. And in fact, there is no one to do anything about it. Plus, whatever is happening outside of your definition, outside of your mind. In other words, when you do not introduce your mind to it, when you don't introduce your labeling, your memory, your judgments, your ideas, your notions, the Bible, the Quran, the whatever, when you don't introduce any mind to it, to whatever is happening, there is nothing happening.
I understand, yeah, I understand it, but I also wonder if the body itself, the body mind itself is programmed. It's programmed to act in certain ways under certain conditions. I'm going to give you an example.
When you're hungry, the body is programmed to feed itself.
But I mean, in a different way. I mean, like, let's say it's been raining for 14 days, and you open up the blinds on the 13 days and you say it's raining again. So then it is a response, the bodily response that is probably programmed, and you go, another rain. It's programmed already, and it's difficult to overcome.
Yes. So when you are in a place where it's raining for 12 and now it's 13th day still raining, 14th day still raining, you start to go, oh God, I mean, when the heck, is this gonna stop, right? And you say, is it programming to say that? But what is your business? Is your business about getting a good weather? Or is your business about waking up? What is your business?
Oh, here it's a rainy day. Let me wake up now.
Business is to wake up, you see. It's to contemplate the self, to awaken. So, yes, the body is going to feel whatever it's going to feel, because of it's been gray for 12 days. Today in the morning it was gray, and we were feeling the grayness of the. But what is our business? It's an important question to myself. That's what is my business? Of course, I could spend my next 20 or 30 years trying to figure out how to move to California. And I may succeed. I may succeed in a year. I may succeed in 20 years. I may not succeed at all. I don't know. Where it's sunny and beautiful and so not rainy. Right? I don't know. I could do that. And I may do that. But for me, besides doing that, which I may do, meaning be interested in moving to sunny weather, for me, my business is to wake up. This does not imply I will not look into moving to better weather and whatever, but my primary business is wake up. So throughout my life, remember, people would tell me, what do you mean you're going away for 10 days? We're busy. We have a lot of work in the company. So I'm sorry, I'm going to my retreat. I have to. There was no compromise. Never no compromise. It didn't matter if I came back fired or non-fired or whatever. It didn't matter. I don't know. I cannot how to explain. I cannot explain it to you. I'm just telling you how it was for me. I cannot tell you how it is for you or anybody else. That's how it was for me. That's what mattered. I'm sorry. That's what mattered. It was like, okay. And after a while, I was surprised to find that everything was working fine. I came back and the person said, hey, how was the retreat? It was good. They weren't, they were okay. They were okay. Maybe they felt threatened that, oh my God, what's going to happen to us, Nothing happened to them. we're okay.
Can it make the distinction between happiness as something that exists and is an internal part and the mind perception, which continually shows up as something that you think you're pursuing, and yet, again, all the false assumptions get applied.
Yes.
So, so if I do this, I will feel better.
Yes.
But that's nonsense.
Yes. Well,
It's not relevant.
Very good question. It's a good question for us to look into. What is the distinction between happiness and what the mind says how things should be for us to be happy? You see, there could be a happy body, a happy world. In other words, you could be healthy, living in a happy environment. There's no trouble, neighbors are okay, your cat and dog are okay, mother and grandmother, father, cousin, boss, everybody's okay. That would be a happy world, body and mind, okay. But that's not happiness. It's an important thing to look at. Happiness is our true nature. And to know happiness, you have to know your true nature. You have to know what we refer to sometimes as a causeless happiness. Our true nature is causeless peace and happiness. Freedom, the bliss of the self, Sat-Chit-Ananda. Now, the distinction between happiness, which is our true nature, and the happiness that is projected by the world, body, mind, we can speak about it, but you can only really know by knowing yourself, by knowing your true nature, and not an explanation will fall short. So happiness, you have to know it. You know it by awakening to it, and by awakening that you already are it. But it's veiled by the mind. The mind says, okay, something about the body, something about the weather, something about my children, something about, it's, a million things that places the conditions and keeps the mind occupied with you as a character, you as some subject of the mind. You become a subject or an object of the mind, whichever way you want to look at it. And in what is it called? There is in this project this
Trajectory.
yeah. There's a word in mathematics. It's escaping me. Away from the source into being a subject or an object of happiness. And so now happiness becomes an object for you. These are the veils. This is how you you're moving in the wrong direction. So happiness has no objective qualities. It has only subjective qualities. So happiness, you could say, is truth, is love, is wisdom, is freedom, is joy. There are non-phenomenal qualities, but we all know them. When we say happiness, when we say love, we all somehow we understand it. I mean, nobody needs to explain to us love or happiness or joy or peace, right? I mean, you don't go to somebody and say, explain to me peace. You go to somebody because you tell them, hey, I don't have the peace. Can you help me with recovering the peace? I understand that. But we know peace. How do we know it? Because we are it. We don't know it because it's something foreign to us. Peace is completely non-foreign to us. It is our intimate nature is peace and happiness, the transparency of being. No worry, no concern, this freedom is what we are, is what the I is. So I is this freedom, is this peace, is this happiness. And the weather relates to the body-mind. It does affect the body-mind. As you say, the body-mind is programmed to be affected by the weather, by relationships. Somebody comes and yells to you, or you hear a loud sound. For example, you're driving and you hear a loud sound. Your body will immediately react to that condition. It is a cause and effect. So in the realm of the world body mind, it is all cause and effect. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When the billiard ball runs and hits the other billiard balls, it doesn't matter which way it hits them, except if you really want to, you have a $50 bet and you want to win, then it matters. But outside of that, it doesn't matter. It's just balls hitting each other. The red goes this way, and then the green and yellow goes this way, the white goes that way, the black goes this way, that way. It really doesn't matter. It only matters when you want to win, you see, right? And it's okay, because you're playing the game of billiard. And you're playing with friends, right? But sometimes you play a game of billiard and you lose, and you want to throw a tantrum because you are identified with something. You're not playing, you see. You're not playing. And you cannot play, actually. You cannot enjoy the play as an identified person, a winner or loser. You cannot. You have to be free. Then you can enjoy. Your freedom first, and then you can enjoy. You can enjoy anything: the rain, the weather, Antarctica, volcanic eruption, a trip to Hawaii, sitting and drinking tea with your friends, whatever. Doesn't matter, because you are free. Right? So, in terms of your question about happiness and what the mind projects, whatever the mind projects, it has a condition to it. And whenever there is a condition, it's not the complete enchilada. It's not the real deal. Right?
It sort of gets into this following of the muse of happiness when it shows up. It's not part of something being accomplished, complicated, done in order to have done that elaborate vacation or whatever. But just that here is freedom. This feels free. And whatever comes up from that is part of that enlargement of that sense of freedom and peace and happiness in the present. And you don't really even know where that's going to go.
Yes.
I mean, you have to start by noticing.
Yes. Whatever feels free in your experience is referring to the freedom that is not dependent on anything. So this is why sometimes we say it's the path of happiness. Follow your bliss. Like Francis Lucille often talks about follow your bliss.
Right,
and,
right.
Anyways, he uses other terms, but anything that feels happy has in it a pointer to you to that happiness that is causeless. Now you will find that whatever you feel happy and then the next moment it feels unhappy, you need to look at that, because if it feels happy temporarily and then goes into unhappiness, and now it gets you into, oh my God, I need to get it back, or I need to redouble my effort, which is unhappy. That is not the path of happiness.
Right.
You see? So when you look at it, you realize that really the path of happiness is not the path of arguing, seeking, worrying, pushing, pulling. Right. It's more
a gift.
Yeah, it's none of that. So it's none of that. And when you, let's say, you drop the false ways, what remains is happiness. You know? When you drop the arguing, the pushing, the pulling, the mind says, oh, well, what do I do next? Nothing. What do you mean? What do I do next? Here's another to do. The more to do. Oh, my to-do list. Oh, what to do next? I'm erasing 5, and then the might say, add 6, right? And erase. No, nothing. So what do you mean nothing? What do you mean nothing? How will I be happy with nothing? You see, because the nothing that I'm talking about is not a nothing that's missing something. It's a nothing that is full. It's the fullness of being, of presence. Just when you are happy, when you are sitting peacefully, you're not thinking about something. It's different from, you're just happy. It's like the story, I think I said that a few times, of this fellow who was carrying a bag of stones on his back and for years and years, and then he let go of the bag of stones on his back, and he was so happy because he's jumping now. But 2 months later, he's just walking around like any other human being is. Normal. He says, how are you doing? I'm doing good. How are you? You say. So what happened to you? 2 months ago, you were jumping up and down because you let go of the 50 pound of rocks on your back. He says, oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah, oh, I forgot about that. Because happiness is our natural state, you say. But it's not really a state in terms of a mind state. Happiness is truth. It's our true nature.
Where does the void fit in that?
The void? Doesn't fit in.
Doesn't fit in.
So, when I sense into this awareness, and I feel this causeless bliss that's not connected to the story, I can do that, but it doesn't last. Kind of like comes and goes a little bit. So, do you have any sense of how to expand that? How to be there? How to recognize that as I?
Yes. When you find this peace and happiness, and it doesn't last, and how to deal with that. We need to investigate. I mean, you need to investigate. What gets in the way? Something is happening. There is being recognizing the peace, meaning just like right now, just being. And then there is maybe a thought that arises, oh my God, am I going to be able to keep it? For example, as soon as that thought arises, it sets a little cloud, a thin cloud or whatever, a veil over the happiness, because now, I need to remember this. You need to remember this so I can have it later when I go home, you see. For example, so you need to notice the me, the personal self that is coming now, separating itself from the peace and objectifying it, creating an object, and therefore creates a subject. So now there is a separate object and a subject. And now there is separation. Immediately, even before you take any further step, immediately there is and there is an unhappiness. There is a thief in your house. There is an invisible thief that lives in your house and keeps coming from room to room and is the cause of the happiness being ephemeral, not lasting. And that thief is this me, the person, somebody in time and space, me in time and space. But in fact, your experience right now, there is no me. It's just presence. There are no words about it. It's like borderless awareness. We're all sort of all one in this awareness, you see. There isn't like a separate self that needs something, wants something, is getting something, is losing something. Thought arises and says, oh, hey, did you get it, Jill? Did you put it in your put it in your bag before you lose it? You see, thought arises says that, you see, right? But the thought arises and creates a Jill that is an object, you see.
And the Jill wants that.
The Jill that, no, you get it, you see, you get it.
Wants that all the time.
Yes, exactly, want it for all the time, you see. It's all story, you see. But all this that's appearing to you, these thoughts are appearing to you, and these feelings are appearing to you. They're appearing to whom? They're not appearing to Jill, they're appearing in consciousness, in the space. Even the contraction is appearing in the space. The space is not contracted. So a cloud appears in the wide open sky, and the cloud has the shape of a dragon. Right? The wide open sky is not contracted. Right? It's an appearance that's appearing to you. You, awareness, are not affected by what appears. See? Although within what appears, there is a very loud message saying, oh yes, you are in trouble, you lost happiness. You see, that's what's appearing. It's saying, whoa, what's going to happen to you tomorrow? What's going to happen to you tomorrow? You're not getting it, you're not getting it. That's what's appearing. What perceives that which is appearing is not affected. Is not affected by what is appearing. Notice that.
And
It is
to notice sort of the thought, sort of as a cloud that can pass by.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because, yeah, absolutely. Even the question that you had 2 minutes ago, where is it now? It's everything that appears disappears. Happiness does not appear and does not disappear. So whatever you're talking about, the happiness that you're losing, you have the mind has objectified happiness, made it an appearance, and said, oh, how can I keep it? I had it at 8 o'clock, and at 12:30 it disappeared.
But how can one stop that thought from appearing?
Why do you want to stop a thought? Who wants to stop a thought? Consciousness don't give a hoot about a thought. Any thought can appear. If you want to stop a thought, then you are separating yourself. You're creating some whatever character that is more or less adept or efficient at stopping thoughts.
Yeah, but it's stopping the me thought.
Stopping the me thought, you know, just to notice, if whenever there is noticing the me thought. When you notice that the rope, the snake is a rope, have you stopped the snake? You have not stopped the snake because there was no snake. You just noticed the rope. To notice, simply to notice. We have the capacity of noticing. That's God-given. Nobody can teach you to notice. It's within us. It's part of the cards that God dealt. Said, okay, let me give you a noticing card. You can notice. You have this capacity of, and noticing is really lovely because we're noticing something that's happening so intimately within us. It's not like we're noticing what's happening in Timbuktu right now. To notice what's happening in Timbuktu, we've got to travel to freaking Timbuktu, and who's got the time to go there now? But we're talking about noticing this me that's saying, oh, I want that. Oh, I like, she has it. It's darn good. I like to have it. You see, what is this? What is this I that wants something? As soon as there is an I that wants something, there is simultaneously an I that does not have it, and there is unhappiness, and it's all emptiness. It's all the void. It's all empty. It feels very real. It feels very solid. But when you go to that feeling within you, when you go to that sense of, where is it within you? Where do you go, Jill? You go. If you go to that sense within you, that feeling within you, you're closer and closer to it. What's appearing? What is it? What's... Without standing apart from it, going closer and closer to it, going completely to it. Not just the story, to go completely to that feeling state without naming it, without labeling it, without judging it, just to go with your entirety, with your totality, with your wholeness, to go open-handed, open-armed to it, see, so that it reveals itself. Before the label, before the form, before boxing it, before building the barricades. No barricades, just dismantle it. Just right there, very, very close, closer than close. We say, yes, okay, yes. I feel you, I am you, you're welcome. Not with any intention to fix anything, to get rid of anything, to get better. No intention. Just some things there. I don't know what it is. Okay. Yes. It's just love. So it's love. We relate with that. Yeah. So it doesn't remain this versus that, and be when. To embrace it all, bring it all. It's all appearing in the body as sensations and feelings. It's a vibrational space. It's a space, an open, wide open space with all sorts of vibrations and forms that are dancing and appearing in it, in its openness, you see. In its openness. So your breath, your belly, your shoulder, your face, just allow it to expand with that sensation. All of it expanding. All of it.
So, so there's a little bit of tension or struggle in that with this. Why be concerned? Why worry? Why, I mean, and then the idea that we do think and decide and do. So let me just ask this question. Maybe it's the concern or the worry or the projection of future, that's part of thinking and deciding and doing at times. So if I give two scenarios, like let's say I look at the car gauge and the fuel and I go, that's close to empty. I suppose I should get gas. I should go get some fuel. So there's a concern that I'm going to run out of fuel beyond the road and have to call a towing company and so forth and so on. It's going to cost, and so there's more trouble, there's more problems. So
yeah, but it's not a psychological concern. The concern that you are bringing is strictly a practical concern. I wouldn't even use the word concern, but since we're using this word, it's okay, not a problem. But it's a practical concern. Okay, by 2 o'clock I have to leave because the train leaves at 3. So there is this, but it's not a psychological concern. It doesn't have in it that feeling of something that is at stake for me. You follow? I mean, of course, I'm going to do my best to catch a train at 3,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have the psychological dimension.
But there is thought that if
Yes.
if I run out of fuel, then it's going to cause
Yes.
certain things.
Of
I might
course.
have to walk. I might have to.
Oh yeah, of course. So there is a practical concern to. We notice there is maybe on the gauges you can, from your experience, you have 10 more miles to go. You know there is a gas station 5 miles away, so you will drive to the gas station and get the filling, do the fill up. But I'm making distinction between a practical concern and the psychological concern. Psychological concern has, in me, this sense of in sense of a danger, and there is an impending doom. There is something that is at stake for the personal self. But in fact, if you run out of fuel, and you will call AAA if you have it, or you will stand on the side of the road, especially where we live here. It's too much traffic. Somebody will stop, and Good Samaritan will help you. It's okay. You'll be inconvenienced.
So then, let's take a work situation. Let's take that scenario, and there's something that the supervisor going to ask a question, somebody reported me or said this or said that, whatever, all these things go on. And I said, well, I guess I should go ahead and let him know what's going on and give him some information. And I'd like to do this or that. So in the future, it won't cause more problems and trouble. The psychological aspect would be the defending myself, the projection of all that happening, and that me that's involved in all of that. Okay, but there's a practicality and saying, let me go ahead and
yes, defending yourself would be psychological in the psychological realm, but presenting information that is contrary. That basically shows that, wait a minute, that's not something that for example I did.
Yeah.
That is information that is relevant to this conversation. When somebody is saying, hey, you placed the order, you send it via email, and so this is, or you didn't send the order via email. That's why we did not ship the product. I say, wait a minute, here is the email. I will copy the email and send it to you, and you will see that I'm not defending myself, but there is a conversation, a practical conversation about work, and there is some information that maybe is misrepresented or is missing, and so I will obviously present the missing information to clarify the situation. But the key thing is that there isn't a sense of that I'm defending myself. You see, but I'm familiar with that. I used to do that in the past. I used to feel like, a danger, some sort of danger, whatever it is. Maybe it goes back to when I was a young boy. Who knows? But that's no longer the case. But still, when there's a situation that requires my contributing relevant data that shows that you're making a mistake here. You're pointing your finger at me, but no, that's not the case. I do that, but there isn't a sense of danger.
Yeah, because there's just presenting facts.
Yes,
The facts are they're not me.
Yeah, but the key thing is that to be free from the personal self, to be free from the negative emotions, does not mean that you are not engaged, fully. Actually, you're engaged with even more clarity, because there is no psychological nonsense in there. You're involved with much more clarity in the world, body, mind relationship. You'll become much better, more efficient, more clear in your work, in your relationships. That's my experience of it.
Okay, that's good. So now I go a little further on that, and let's say you used the thing of ordering, and I don't know, some way things are being done, the process thing, the way things are being done. Now, for me to say, wow, if these people get it wrong, what I would call wrong, okay, yes. Well, the facts would be if they do it this way, I don't have to say it's wrong or right. If they do it this way, okay, then what will happen more than likely is that I will lose time, I will lose this.
It will impact
money,
you.
Okay, so it's the same as fuel being empty.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I go, well, okay, maybe I should then present certain things. So in that way, that takes a little bit more thought and time. Okay.
Yes.
So it's not quite as like, oh, I'll go get gas. It's not as simple.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I think that kind of what some would call concern.
Well, I mean, but it's still on the practical
Yeah.
level. Like, for example, in order for my work to be very smooth, there are a lot of people that need to operate in certain ways that facilitate, you know, and I do express, you know, okay, you know, you need to do this that way, and you need to do that this way, you need to do this way, and you guys talk together and work this, work that, do this first, this second, this third, and in the end, it's going to facilitate my life and my work. Sure. And so that information is shared. It is definitely much more complicated than filling the car with gas, but it's still in the practical realm, and it may work, it may not work. Yes. Actually, my experience is that 75% of the time it works, 25% it doesn't. But let's put it another way: it's still the realm of, you know, rowing your boat on the water. You know, sometimes it's nice and smooth, and sometimes a little bumpy. But it's not It does not have the psychological dimension. Why? Because I know myself, and that knowingness does not leave itself. I know myself as that transparent presence, as the aware presence. I no longer am a subject or a character or a dream character or a person in the dream. Yeah. That's gone. That's no longer the case. So that's why we're talking about awakening to the self. And there will continue to be psychological dimensions in your life, in your dream, because the psychological dimensions relate to the personal self. That's still, you know, some remnants of it, or, you know, it still appears and disappears. But I think it's important to note that there may be in your life many complicated situations, especially in today's world, which is much more dynamic. We're no longer just farmers waiting for the rain and, you know, singing and dancing to the rain, so that we have, it's much more complicated realm that there will be very dynamic aspect in how you relate with work, with people, with, you know, various situations. And you do your best at it, but and you remain engaged, of course, in that. But the key thing is that the contemplation of what I am, it needs to go on and remain alive. Yes. Not just in satsang, but throughout your because you will notice, you know, how, you know, in work, how you're feeling defensive, or how you're feeling insulted, or how you're feeling vulnerable. You ask yourself, then, what is it that's being insulted? What is it that's feeling left out? What is it that's feeling exploited? You know, just to look at that. To look at that.
More like the future for me, I think, like what's going to happen next week, and then will I lose this, and then.
Yes. What is it that's feeling fear or concern or worry, whatever the word is? Yeah. Yes. To look at that, because there is a thought that appears. Because if there isn't a thought that appears about you in the future, you wouldn't feel concerned about tomorrow, right?
Right. Yet there's a thought when you have to get fuel. So
but right. The thought that appears that says bring fuel is it's a good thought to arise when the fuel is low. But the thought about tomorrow, about what's going to happen to me tomorrow, or will my coworkers respect me tomorrow, for example?
Okay,
I'm just inventing something. That thought is different from the fuel, from the fuel tank, because that thought is referring within it to you, is referring within it to you as somebody,
right. An imaginary you.
As an imaginary you, and you're imagining what others may do to you, and so on.
Exist, really.
Yes, but we feel it, and it may haunt us. It may haunt us. It may pass, which is great, but sometimes it doesn't pass so quickly. And sometimes it even leads us to act. Sometimes we act out of that. We say, oh, gee, I'm going to write a letter to the boss about them. And then they get the letter, and then it can complicate everything, you say. Right? Yeah. So to notice, when we notice, and it's a blessing when we notice the false sense of self. And then the wise thing is not to follow it.
Sure.
Say, okay, fine. Okay, fine. So there's dust. There is dust. Okay, fine. The dust will settle.
Maybe it's just to stay awake.
Yeah, we are wakefulness. We are as conscious.
I'm not saying to try to stay awake, but
No.
To notice the awake, to notice who I am and all of it. In other words, the vibrations, say the actions or whatever's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it because
when is referring to myself, to self.
Yeah. Right. When you notice, noticing is neutral. What is noticed is something else. You notice the gas fuel. That's a noticing. You notice a personal self. Do they love me? Don't they love me? That's also same. The noticing is the same. The screen is the same, but the images are different. In one case, when you notice the gas fuel, then okay, we go fill up the gas. In another case, when you notice the personal self, do they love me? Don't they love me? We're not going to fill that. We're not going to go fill that tank, right? That's the wrong tank to fill, right? One is the right tank, the other one is the wrong tank. Okay, coming to the end of satsang, but I wanted to find out if there are any questions online. Any questions online? Okay. The Costa Rica retreat. Tara just put a message. We all know there is. I think we all know there is a Costa Rica retreat in April next Friday, and it ends on the 11th. Yes, Tara, 11th. And so, for people who are still listening and may be interested, you're welcome to contact us. Seems it's always open for people to join. 6 to 11. Yeah, the retreat 6 to the 11. Okay. Any questions here? Yes, Fernando.
You compare in some way in a moment consciousness to space, and I was thinking that space is limitless. The space here in this room is the same than in the other room,
Yes.
second floor, and so on. In consciousness, my question is, when you're aware of your self or your real self, you go to consciousness, right? And my question is, this individual consciousness, there is individual consciousness, and or it is the same that the bigger one, from which we are part of.
I see. Is there individual consciousness, and is it part of the larger consciousness? You could say that that there is an individual consciousness that is part of the total consciousness, except that there is no border between the individual consciousness and the larger consciousness. So it's like saying there is the sky here in Virginia, and it is part of the larger sky that is everywhere. But what's the sky in? What is the sky in Virginia and the sky in Texas? How are there two skies? Or the sky in Paris, or the sky in the planet Xenon, or are there two skies? I'm just using this metaphor, you see. So when you look at individual consciousness, and there is the individual and there is consciousness, right? So when we say individual consciousness, we're saying that there is a consciousness that is particular to me, and there's a consciousness particular to you, and these two particular consciousness are part of a larger consciousness. Yes, more or less. Yes. So if you go to consciousness right now, do you go inside your head? Do you go inside your belly? Do you go inside of your house? Do you go inside of your bank account? Where do you go to consciousness right now? Do you go anywhere? To you, where do you go? When you look at consciousness right now, where do you go?
To me.
Where?
Here.
Where?
This, here, my body, my mind.
You go to your body. Okay. Let's say you go to your body, right? What goes to your body? So consciousness, you have to go to your body for consciousness. And you say you go to your body. What goes to your body in order to find consciousness?
My attention.
Your attention. And what notices your attention going to your body? Because for you to say, my attention goes to my body, something must notice that, right? When I say the dog goes to the kitchen, something notices the dog going to the kitchen. So when you say my attention goes to the body in order to find consciousness, what notices that attention is going to the body?
My consciousness.
So consciousness is noticing attention going to the body to find consciousness. You see the tautology of this sort of, you have to look. Because if we don't investigate, there are belief systems and feeling systems that are on board. It's a very common belief and feeling system that consciousness is personal, is particular. But we just did a little exercise that showed there is something off. It makes no sense. When you go to consciousness, you actually don't go anywhere because you are consciousness.
So it's not personal.
Absolutely not personal. The personal aspect is a thought and a feeling that arises within consciousness. As a metaphor, a child that is 2 days old, then 5 days and 20, and then a month, then 3 months, that at some point, the child starts to say, oh, I am Jojo, I am Juju, or I am Lulu, whatever, right? That appeared. The person, the identity, which is still in construction, under construction, appeared. It wasn't there. It was just, but it appeared. So the personal, the entire field of personal, the feeling of personal. Because at some point, Lulu is going to start to feel like he's Lulu. It's my toy, not your toy, you see. It's that appears. So it's something that appears, not the original. And it keeps changing because Lulu is just changing 10 years later, 12 years later, 15 years later. And every second is changing. Every second, the thought, the impression, the sensation, even the molecular composition of what we refer to as the body, which is a universal body, because in fact, the molecular composition of the entire universe is dancing. It's dancing. And if you look with the electronic microscope, you'll see, wow, is this what the leaf looks like when you look in in the electronic microscope? And the more you look, it's like it becomes. So you'll see that what seems to be is only in proportion to the instrument of perception. The instrument of perception has its particular limitations or its particular definition. And because of the definition of the instrument of perception, what is perceived relates to that instrument. But if you, instead of looking with your eyes, you take a binocular and you look, you will see that in fact, in this tree, there are 5 birds that you're not seeing right now with your eyes. But when you put the binoculars on, you will see. And if you put even a telescope, then that sky that seemed to be empty will appear to you like, whoa, what? You will be astounded. So do not rely just on the instrument, because the instrument of perception is only commensurate with what is perceived is only commensurate with the object of perception, the senses. So the senses are just one roll of the dice. God's roll of the dice said, okay, here are senses, you see. But also there is the infinite. There is the infinite, which is not just limited to the senses. You see, so the instrument, you perceive the tree with this instrument, with the eye, but in fact, what perceives is infinite. What perceives is infinite. Right? So with the binocular, you perceive, you are the bird watcher, you perceive the bird, but it's not the binocular that perceives. The perceiver is undefined, is limitless. So, and the body, what you imagine to be the body, with the mind, which is limited, with the senses, which are limited, with the brain, which is limited, what you perceive as the body is just a form that is in proportion to the instrument. But when you go to the larger instrument, you see, when you go from the binocular to the telescope, and from the telescope to the Hubble telescope, when you go to a larger instrument, when you go to consciousness, then you perceive the totality. And the totality is consciousness itself. What you perceive and the consciousness that perceives are not two. Okay, thank you all. Okay, online. Thank you for.
Thank you, Meg.
Okay, Zoe, Maya, George, Elsa, lovely. Well, are we here next Thursday? No. So we'll see you. Are we here? Yes, maybe we are. So we may have one more online satsang Thursday, or if we're too busy, then we're probably not. Yeah, we're going to be too busy. Probably will be after we come back from Costa Rica. Okay, thank you all. We'll see you soon.